And now I'm here in the kitchen with Chef Katy Meyer. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And Katy, you grew up in the Midwest, although you're an import to Iowa, a transplant, as we like to say. But you've really fallen in love with this state. What do you like about living here?
Yeah, I feel like it's just a really comfortable place to be as far as my surroundings and the people in the community and the way I feel supported by my peers and the people I've gotten to know and the institutions I've gotten to know. And I feel like it's an exciting place, but a safe place at the same time. And I don't know, there's just something about the rolling green prairies that feels very just inviting and comfortable and cozy, but you know, you still got your kind of wide open spaces, and it's lovely.
That's actually one of my favorite things about this show, is that we really do get to showcase maybe the subtle beauty of our state, which I do think is incredibly beautiful. But you know, as someone who has a restaurant and cooks food for the community, you're part of that community building. I mean, you're part of what created that sense of community, not just for you, but for so many others.
Yeah, it's that I feel a much more responsibility when you put it that way, but yes. I also think there's a humility to the Midwest that I appreciate that I take on too. But yeah, it's nice to be a part of something, and to be a part of something, I feel like, you know, I haven't lived in any big cities, so I can't speak to what that experience is like, but I appreciate that I feel like Iowa City and Iowa are big enough places, but they have a very small town feel. And it's, I know that I could always ask for help if I needed it with anything, really. So that's something huge that keeps me here, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, we have this space for connection. Yeah. Well, we are going to cook with some collard greens today, which I am super excited about because, I mean, obviously this is a regional food. This is something people in the southern United States have known and loved for generations and generations, and I didn't eat them until I was an adult.
Me neither.
And I love them now. So this is very exciting.
Great.
And why don't we get cooking?
All right.
All right, we have some beautiful collard greens here. What are we gonna make?
So we're just gonna do a very simple stewed collard greens. And we're gonna do a vegan version, so we're gonna use some different flavor enhancers that maybe you haven't seen before or have.
And a lot of people would throw bacon into this, and that's totally fine too.
If that's your jam, then you do that. So we have a pan going over here, medium heat. We're gonna get some onions and garlic started, and then I'm gonna show you how to chop up the collard greens. Here's just some vegetable oil, and then I have a little olive oil too for flavor. And just some yellow onion and some garlic. And I'll put a little salt and pepper on that. And we'll let that go. I'll let you stir it up a little bit. And we'll let that cook while we're talking about the greens.
All right. And I think some people are intimidated by collard greens because they get those giant leaves and they think, what do I do?
Right. So you can always treat it like you treat kale. I don't know if people, I feel like people are more familiar with kale than they are collard greens. That's kind of how I approach it. It's really great. So we're gonna cook the heck out of it, but it's really great raw too, just like very thinly sliced and massaged with some oil and vinegar or whatever you like. So you can definitely eat it raw, but we're gonna cook it. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. You could put it like face down, I'd say, and then just run your knife along the stem. Or you could kind of fold it over and tear it off the stem. So there's a couple different ways to do it. I find this to be quicker. So this is generally what I do. You can see you don't get like exactly all of the green off of there. And then again, I'm just gonna rough chop this. We could get super fancy, and here, if you wanted to do it raw, wasn't planning to do this, but I'll just show you what I would do. So then you would just run your knife like this and make really thin ribbons.
Right. So even though it's kind of a tough, chewy green, if it's that thin, it's going to soften up, especially with a little oil and vinegar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And these are all ready to go. So why don't you stir that up a little bit more? And then go ahead and dump all of those in there carefully.
All right.
And they'll cook down a lot, right?
A lot,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, they will.
You can start with a lot of collard greens.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think about all of the other greens that we use maybe more often than collard greens, but they're just so healthy.
Yeah, they're really vibrant and super nutritious. You know, you could eat, 3 leaves and you'd be set for the day and some nutrients. So just a little salt and pepper and chili flake on there. And then I'm gonna stir this up and then we'll add everything else. It's nice to use tongs to kind of get the greens on the bottom of the pan there.
And you can see them already reducing.
Yes.
They cook down a lot.
They're steaming now, and then we're gonna add a bunch of liquid, so they're gonna kind of braise almost, or stew. So now we'll come in with some white pepper, which I gotta tell you, I'm not a huge white pepper fan, but in certain things, I like to use it. It has a really distinct taste, I feel like. And here's some smoked paprika. And then a little maple. Some soy sauce. Oops.
I love this. I would never have thought to put these flavors together. That's so good.
Oh, good. And then some apple cider vinegar. And
Oh, it's starting to smell great.
a little more chili flake. A little
That
more
smoked
salt and
paprika
pepper.
has such a lovely aroma.
Yeah, it kind of adds that signature taste that we're going for. So now I'll give everything a really good stir. And then I'm gonna add some water and we're gonna cover it and let these cook down over medium-low for about half an hour. And they're gonna darken up a lot and they're gonna release some liquid and they're gonna absorb the flavors that we're looking for. And then we'll come back to those. When they're done, I'll just add that water and cover it up.
All right.
There we go. All right, so we'll check these out. They look good. They've cooked down quite a bit,
Yeah.
as you can see. So this was about 2 bunches that we started with. And you could probably get like 4 servings out of here as a side. So, but you could definitely eat more. So if you're
So
cooking
plan
for a
ahead and
group,
buy a lot.
buy
Yeah.
a lot. Buy like more than you think you should be buying. And I made some cornbread to go with
fantastic.
them. So we'll get that and a little bit of butter on the cornbread.
Nice.
And then we can try that together.
Fantastic.
Thank
All right.
you.
They smell great.
Yes.
They look great. Wow. So savory.
The way everything plays together, the maple, the spice, the vinegar, so good.
Absolutely. Oh, Chef Katy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we had fairly traditional collard greens. Now we're gonna do something different. What are we gonna do?
We are going to use the whole collard leaf like a wrap. So we're gonna make little, maybe burritos or wraps, whatever you wanna call them. We're gonna use a filling and we have a little sauce. So first we got some water boiling, very salted, kind of like the same as you would do when you're making pasta. So quite a bit of salt. You wanna taste it. We wanna season the leaves. So that's going. And then we also wanna have ready here ice water, so cold water with ice, and then we also added some more salt to this and some apple cider vinegar, like enough that you want to taste it again to flavor the leaves.
Nice.
So,
all right.
and then what we want to do just very quickly, we are going to prep these leaves, cut the stem off, and then carefully just take your knife and kind of make this so that it will lay flat, so it'll be a lot easier to roll.
Right, and that would have been a little tough to chew.
Yeah, exactly. A little more palatable. So these leaves are actually kind of on the smaller side. You know, those kind of giant ones that you see would be perfect for something like this, but this just means our wraps are going to be smaller.
Dainty.
Yes. Like us.
Yes.
So we'll just do 3 right now. You could do more at a time in the pot, but we'll just do 3.
All right.
So carefully we'll put these in here, and very quickly you're gonna see that they brighten.
Yeah.
And we don't want to cook these very much at all. We're just like softening them so that they're pliable. So really, this is about all we need, plus they're smaller, they are a little more delicate. So I'm gonna pull this out. Immediately we'll put it in the ice water to stop it cooking and to cool it down.
And I love how that just heightens the green too.
Yeah, it kind of makes it keep its color there. So then we don't want to waterlog it. You could leave it in there longer though if you needed. And then we're gonna take a clean towel and just blot it dry. You could use a paper towel, of course. So then we have our, you can feel that
Yeah,
it's like,
much more pliable.
yeah.
I can get a tooth through this.
Yes. And then I'll take these other 2 out quick. We'll dry them. So we said earlier that sometimes I do things on here that I've never done before, so I haven't done this exact thing before. I've actually made them with raw leaves,
Okay.
which you can do, but it wouldn't be quite as pleasant an experience. It would still be delicious, but it'd be harder to eat. So
Well, and this is nice because it adds an extra layer of flavor. too.
correct. So now I'm gonna take my leaf and I'm gonna put a little bit of sauce on there. So this
And
sauce,
what's in your sauce?
Yes, thank you. So this is a tahini sauce. Tahini is a sesame paste. So it's just tahini and some water and some lemon and some soy sauce.
All right.
And then we have here our filling, which is a nice little salad I made with some quinoa and beans and veggies. And we're not gonna put a whole lot in there, otherwise it's not going to roll up very well. So this might be our mulligan, but we'll find out. We'll give it a try. So just like you're rolling a tiny little burrito, roll the sides in and the bottom and fold it up and over. It almost looks like a dolma, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. There's stuffed grape leaf, yeah.
Yeah, so that's our finished
Beautiful.
product.
Yeah.
And I am gonna slice into this one. If you have a plate, we
I
can
do.
give this a try. Just a tiny little bite. And then if you want, I'm gonna put a little sauce on mine. I'll wait for
right.
you to go first.
I will. I'll put a little sauce on
Okay.
mine too. Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, it's a great salad, but the collard greens are just a little more savory. And I feel like I'm doing something really good for my body.
Yes.
This would
Wrapped
be,
in a green thing.
and what a great lunch to take on the go.
Definitely, these would keep.
Fantastic. Chef Katy, you've done it again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.